Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us for another Twitter Space. Today is September 20th, 2022, and this is the ledgerscale Engineer Value Open Forum. Now, ledgerscale Foundation was founded with two goals in mind. One, we want to provide educational services to not only our community, but to the entire digital asset community, and to help scale up the number of brains that understand how distributed ledger technology works. And two, we intend to one day run hardware to provide infrastructural support to the distributed ledger technology networks that we believe are ESG friendly and running a form of decentralized consensus. Now, we host these spaces Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday starting at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And on Wednesday, we host a focused topic space from 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time. And if I could just ask if everyone could give us a follow on Twitter at ledgerscale. Turn those notifications on so you know we're going live. And as well as at the bottom, there's a little bubble. And if you could just like and retweet the space so that other people can hopefully find this information valuable in the future. I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna invite everybody up. Um, Understand if you guys are busy, but feel free if anybody has any questions or anything topics that they'd like to talk about today.
Hey, what's up, Dad?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
How's the crypto news been today? I know you have good eyes. Usually, you're watching the space.
Yeah, did you get a chance to read the Nasdaq news? Nasdaq is preparing to launch an institutional crypto custody service.
Oh, that's horrible, Tony. You there, man?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you definitely rugged at first. Twitter's already being ruthless.
Yeah. It wouldn't let me connect for a while. Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
so yeah, I do. Yeah,
Yeah, so the Nasdaq is preparing to launch a crypto custody service. I don't know if you got a chance to read that.
Negative.
no, I didn't. The Nasdaq itself, or is the Nasdaq going to be a work company?
It says here, equity exchange operator Nasdaq has been plotting a move into institutional crypto custody service, according to several people briefed by the company. The firm, which operates markets in the U.S. and global equities, is no stranger to the cryptocurrency market, having served as a provider of market surveillance technology to cryptocurrency exchange venues since at least 2018.
Makes me really wonder who what solution are they using, right? And that's something like a polysign would play that role. Yeah.
Yeah, it says here the new offering is pending regulatory approval. Did you hear that?
No, what was that?
The new offering is pending regulatory approval, and it says Nasdaq is also establishing a crypto-focused division in tandem with its exploration into crypto custody.
Interesting. I mean, the Nasdaq, the New York Stock Exchange, they're a business, right? Like the New York Stock Exchange is owned by ICE, so it's interesting to see this movement now, right? At this moment, though, it's very interesting. Especially, what makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess, is the fact that they deal with commodities, right? And who was with the commissioner of the CFTC right the other day, Brad Garlinghouse.
Yep. It says the person leading this is Ira Urbeck. Not sure who that is. I'm gonna look into it to see if what connections they have.
Very interesting to think. Have you been looking into the library case also? There seemed something strange because we haven't heard anything from the judge when we probably should have for some sort of judgment from him.
She was supposed to rule on Friday, right?
I don't think she was supposed to rule on Friday, but I think the judge himself, or I think is it a female? I thought it was a male judge. But they ruled that they were going to give their statement, I guess, on that date or something, and so that would, for him to have no sort of communication afterwards is interesting. Maybe they're settling, right? Is what people are, I guess, suggesting.
Yeah, some people said that that case is supposed to set a precedent. It's supposed to be as important as the Ripple case. And also the person that we were just talking about, Ira Orbeck, fairly young guy, man, and he used to work for Gemini for 4 years. He was the global head of Gemini Prime.
I don't hear much about that exchange. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coma. Welcome. I thought you were right.
No, I had an issue. My I wonder if if Nasdaq is like working with standard custody and PolySign on the custody stuff. Is that what y'all are talking about?
Yeah, I had made that just a mindful suggestion because if the Nasdaq is getting into it and they're talking about looking into custody for them, well, they're not going to custody the assets themselves, so they're going to hire a service to do that.
Yeah, I could see that making sense.
So well, my voice is a little messed up. I lost it over the weekend, but I do have a question in regards to hardware wallets. I was in a ledger space earlier today as in Espanol, and they were talking about how you can add sub wallets to your account or to your yeah hardware wallet. And they were talking about being able to manually select a 25th word to sort of lock up those sub accounts. So they were putting, I guess, talking about a scenario where, say, somebody did compromise your 24-word seed phrase, and you had sub accounts that you could alternatively create those sub accounts, put in your crypto funds in there, and set a sort of a, I don't know if this said passphrase or a 25th letter to sort of lock those sub accounts. I've actually never heard of that. I've have seen that you can create sub accounts, but I didn't know about adding the extra layer of protection.
Yeah,
I I don't know anything about that. Do you know, Death?
it makes sense. But so here's the thing, though. So then it's technically the wallet's not compromised. So in that scenario, I would say the wallet wasn't technically compromised, although they lost some of it, but it was somewhat compromised, I guess. It's interesting to think. But then that wallet is just as safe as that one word, which if you've broken into somebody's wallet, right, you're probably going to be able to find that one word very easily.
Well, they were talking more of the scenario of somebody being physically forced to give up their 24 seed phrase.
Yes. So if exactly. So in that sense, it's just one extra word, and it's just really is a little bit more computational power. Yeah, but if we're talking a quantum computer, yeah, it'll still go through. They still go right through that. Yeah.
But somebody in the as a speaker, I don't think it was the actual ledger representatives, but they sort of mentioned that you could manually select that 25th word. Um, is that true?
I think I do remember. I don't have a ledger, but I think I do remember reading that. Yeah. But so it's as safe as you being able to keep it safe, right? But if you're talking about a
Right.
quantum computer breaking it, um, it if you've interacted with the blockchain of said that wallet, right? Yeah, I could see it breaking it for sure.
And how would those sub accounts sort of look on the ledger? Would you be able to tell that they're
No,
connected to the
yeah,
primary account?
no, not necessarily. No, maybe you could tell that they're connected to it, but um, per se, would there be a different secret or private key? And so each wallet would have a different interaction hash with the blockchain, and so thinking that way, those wallets probably wouldn't be compromised. It's whatever wallet had the interaction with the blockchain that created a transaction hash that the um, quantum computer was able to backdoor back into the wallet.
So I haven't actually created a sub account. So what you're saying is it'll generate another 24 words for that sub account?
No, it's not a different 24 words. It's just a different private key that's interacting with the blockchain.
Okay.
So you have a private key and you have a seed phrase. Right, seed phrase is the 24 word gateway to your wallet. For that, it holds everything. A private key is the direct
I guess,
cryptographic message
yeah.
from your wallet to the blockchain.
So I guess my question is, would it just keep the private key there and not show me the seed phrase to generate the private key? So I guess I'm thinking, would I be able to sort of import that sub account into a different hardware wallet?
Import that sub account into a different well, no, because those 24 words are compromised. I would say get a new wallet, and then just if that wallet wasn't breached, luckily,
Well, thinking of outside that scenario, just in
you would
general,
just
say.
send those funds to a new wallet completely that has never interacted with the blockchain.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that out, test it out.
Would you have a quantum computer to break into it?
No, it's just creating the sub accounts and whatnot, seeing what the process is exactly.
Oh yeah. That would be cool though if you had the quantum computer to break into it. Then.
What, you don't have a quantum computer, Jeff?
Not yet, but there are quantum chips available by IBM for the retail already, which you could get that I think have was it 5 qubits? I think.
I know they have a API service you can use, but I think it's a simulated quantum computer.
They've built a facility that is 300 times colder than outer spaces to host a series of quantum computers. Yeah. IBM is
the to make the quantum, to make the qubits.
It's more energy than the sun, or the heat than the sun. I mean, these nuclear fissions and fusions that we play with, I feel like sometimes they do proceed way hotter than our sun even puts out radiation of.
Well, you got to have that stuff. The environmental interference has to be like maximally minimized. It's kind of a weird way to say that, but like the whole thing with the cold is so the qubit, because any amount of heat energy and then things will start bouncing around, right? And now your computation isn't gonna perform appropriately because they're going to bounce all over the place instead of according to the code. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. They've got to keep those things. I mean, the quantum computer itself isn't that big, but there'll be a whole room in there set up just to like keep it freezing cold and noise reduction and no like vibration from say trucks driving down a nearby road or anything like that. That's why I don't think we're going to see quantum computers in. I mean, I guess you can sell access to one, kind of like IBM is trying to do already, but I don't think we're going to see like individual, even big businesses having quantum computers for years.
We'll get quantum chips as the retail, some sort of quantum level chips, which are really, you're just able to interact with maybe their quantum systems. But I don't think the everyday person will ever own a quantum computer. I think governments and institutions will, though. I think they already do, personally.
Well, it's going to. I mean, there are some quantum machines. It's just none of them are really that good. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be expensive. It'll be worth the competitive advantage, though. I mean, from both a military and like a business, like competitive sense, it'll be worth the cost. People will pay it. I mean, you'll be able to answer questions that have never been answerable before.
Yeah, I mean, just so this thought went through my head. Like, think about something like 50 million qubit system, right? Like, that's something like that, massive. Because yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But I feel like something that massive in power could read all of the data available on the internet today in seconds. It's just the thoughts of what it could do.
I don't think you'll see something that big in my lifetime. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, just 50 qubits is more powerful than anything we've ever had to date. Like 50 qubits is better than a supercomputer. So it's up there, Chris. You got your hand up?
Yeah, I'd love to hear his thoughts on this.
Yeah, the supercomputers are really cool, but the computers we have already, like the supercomputers, like BigQuery from Google, is pretty incredible. Where you can load in a massive amount of data to do like research on it. I know the XRPL exists on BigQuery even. So if you wanted to do some like deep forensics, you can do it really fast. It's just really expensive. Quantum computing would make that so much faster and likely cheaper. So yeah, I agree. Where I don't think that'll ever be a consumer product, but definitely renting, and it probably won't be that expensive because you wouldn't actually take up that much time uh, on that resource, right? The other thing I've seen that's pretty exciting is the hosts that I use. They claim that they're the first and exclusive at this time, but they're using ARM-based processors in their servers. So right now you can rent an 80 processor, and I can't remember how many cores it is, or no, 80 cores, and I don't remember how many processors of ARM-based servers, which is just crazy. Like we're putting ARM in everything. Like my MacBook and all new Macs are all ARM-based. All our phones are ARM-based, and it's an open source processor that anybody can build. And I think that might be the bigger future. Quantum's going to be there as a rentable thing, but I think we're only just starting to see the benefits of using an open source processor like ARM.
Yeah, that's a massive system. 80 cores. Oof, that's a beast.
Say that. Did you see the article I sent a couple of days ago? It was how IBM built a fridge for quantum
Yeah,
computers.
yeah.
That is.
I quoted it just before.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, it was the exact label too of what they put it. It was they built a fridge that was literally 300 times cooler than outer space. And and with that thought, right? They said they're going to host a series of quantum computers down there. So if they're already talking about it, it's way done.
Yeah, exactly. Like usually when they talk about it, it's probably already in the testing or finishing up testing phase.
welcome up, Wolf, and in the fridge. If you guys would like to jump in, please feel free to lay comments. And Queen, sorry, I didn't realize.
Hey, good evening.
Carmen, were you talking about insurance earlier?
I don't think that was mentioned yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to. I was halfway listening to the conversation, and then I got into it with a coworker, and he was all like, we were discussing. He was like, "What would be the benefit of blockchain or crypto in insurance?" And I figured that the policy would be an NFT in that situation, but I don't want to interrupt whatever we were talking, whatever topic was. But
this is a subject that Karma particularly has a business model built out for. Karma, if you'd like to, then go ahead.
Sorry, I had a customer there. What was the question?
Well, I was halfway listening, and I was trying to. I had to go back to work during the whatever part I was at, but when I went back to work, I continued my thought process with my coworker, and he was all like how what would be the point of it? What's the I guess the only thing I could come up with is that the NFT would be the your insurance policy, not necessarily the value you put down to get that coverage, but it would be the proof of coverage, I guess.
Yeah, there's a feature called demerge, and so you would issue a token. Let's say it's an annual it's not really a policy, but an annual subscription. And then you would you would set demerge so that at the end of the year, the token demerge is like negative interest rate. So as long as you have the token, you could make a coverage request, right? But then at the end of the year, the token would demerge down to zero, and you don't have it anymore, right? So if you want to resubscribe, then you got to buy another token, and then that'll demerge down over a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes it would like a countdown almost to the time you need to re-up.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're on the 364th day and the token is like 99.99% demer, you still have it, right? And is no more or less valuable than it is on day one. Because all it does is grant you access to use it one time if you have a loss event. And if you don't have a loss event, hopefully you don't, then it'll just go away. And your money will have gone to help other people that you approved of. I mean, that's how karma coverage is set up. That's not how insurance works. Insurance is all centralized. All the money goes into one central pot. Karma coverage is set up so it's like you're self-custody. So you put some money on the table, you're in control of it. If you don't want to be part of it anymore, fine, take your money and go away. But you put some money on the table and you tell a bunch of your friends, hey, if something happens to you, I got your back. Here's some money on the table. And if something happens to one of your friends or one of their friends, then you decide if you want to help them out. It's not that complicated.
No, it's not. Yeah, that sounds like a. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could work.
I remember explaining it to my grandmother, and she was like, "Well, that's how we did it during the Depression." I was like, "Well, okay, cool." Actually, when I concluded all my research, it turns out these methods predate insurance methods by 1,000 years. So I really didn't come up with anything.
The interesting thing, you could even go back to Mesopotamia, which is like the oldest written history that we could really know about. And even there was some sort of community insurance where if somebody was damaged, right, the community would always pitch in with blankets or tents or whatever they needed to take care of the wounded.
I don't know about that. I'd have to look into that. I know the Takaful and Hawala and all this stuff go back to, I think, 600 AD, and insurance goes back to 1600. Big fires, I think it was in Scotland or London or something. I don't know about going all the way back to Mesopotamia. I'd have to check that out. That'd be interesting.
It's like the concept of everybody pitching in to take care of you know, you could just say in the sense like they didn't think of it like providing insurance or anything, but you know, when the wounded would when they had wounded, they would, you know, everybody else would pitch in to take care of like the wounded in some sort of way with whatever they did, baskets or, you know, food or whatever it was. So it's like insurance without thinking it's insurance.
More like a community effort.
Well, that's what true insurance is. It's community effort. Right? Everybody pitches in
essentially, one way or another, what you're doing is taking concentrated risk, right? Like your house burned down. Mine didn't burn down. Yours burned down. And you're taking that concentrated risk and spreading it out amongst a cohort of policyholders, family, friends, co-workers, you know, community members, whatever the cohort is. And so, yeah, you just spread that concentrated risk out amongst the group, I guess. I don't know.
Can't wait till we have something like that decentralized. I bet all our money just go to the company that insures the insurance companies. I wish we could see the numbers, real numbers.
I mean, that's what karma coverage is, to be honest. With the insurance methods, the indemnity insurance methods, you concentrate the risk into a centralized party, which would be the insurance company. And that's why you have so many laws and regulations around insurance, right? Because if that one node gets knocked out of the network, the whole network falls apart because all the money and everything is centralized around that one node. But that's not the only way to set up a system. I mean, look at all a blockchain is about decentralization. So karma coverage is kind of in that line of thinking. It'll come back around. I mean, karma coverage methods have been around for longer than the insurance methods, so they'll resurface.
So is this close to how a co-op would work? Like if you went to a cooperative for your insurance?
No, because the co-ops actually practice indemnity insurance methods. They just do so under a not-for-profit. It's almost like a credit union. You know, they still practice fractional reserve banking. They just do it under a credit union co-op type of legal structure instead of a for-profit, you know, corporate legal structure. But they're still doing the same business model. Karma coverage is a different business model.
That's a hugely popular thing here. Like we shop at co-op grocery stores, get our gases at co-ops. Our gas that's delivered to our house is a co-op. The electricity is a co-op. Insurance. I bank at a credit union. I don't know why it's so popular. You do get a little check from each one of them every year, though.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, that's better than the for-profit extractionary corporate legal structure. I think, anyway. But it's still the same business model. Like you're still not doing anything different. It's just a different legal structure, but the business model's the same.
Our insurance here, though, is government. So you can't shop. You have to buy your insurance from the government.
Yeah, I mean, but see, there again, that's a centralized system. And that can be good. I mean, there's benefits to centralization. Centralization improves efficiency. Like I know this is like kind of blockchain space talk, and centralization is supposed to be the enemy, right? But actually, you gain a lot of efficiency from centralization. So there's definitely situations where like blockchain is not really like decentralized methods, maybe aren't the best, for the job. And I don't know, healthcare might be one of those. All I know is the U.S. has healthcare about as screwed up as you could possibly screw it up. Um, the I don't know.
I find decentralization a little weird because it always seems like every time I've been in any way, it's controlled by a group somehow. Like a lot more than a centralized where decisions are made a lot easier because there's a structure. But when you have a decentralized, there's no structure. Any decisions that are made are kind of through a centralized, like it's really weird. Every day I'm seeing it more and more, and it's just I don't know if
Well,
any is truly decentralized.
Yeah, true. I would say true,
that's one of the many drawbacks. Like there's extra expense to making decisions in a decentralized system, right? I mean, there just is. You got to get people. Look at the XLS 20 amendment. People have to vote on this. Look at like trying to make amendments to the Bitcoin D code. You know how hard that is to get voted in? I mean, and it just slows everything down. Versus if you just have like a hierarchy. Sorry, Death. I think that was you I interrupted.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You can keep going if you want.
There's so much things that could be better if it was decentralized also, though, like paperwork and things like that. For example, when people lose their driving license and things like that, after 5 years you have to put in applications once again to search for to be able to take it over again. Things like that are just stupid. Should be automatic, I think.
Well, and so you say automatic, but the most important thing behind that automation, with that ability to do that, I would think would be what we would come to see as AGI, right, or an advanced form of AI, and I Chris, I really don't think we truly see any like true decentralization and true until autonomous systems have built um, systems, and then we have to hope that those autonomous systems that were built by man don't have some sort of prejudice or bias because built by a particular person.
I could just put up a smart contract that, like, after 5 years, I was finished with the process and things like that, I guess.
Well, with the AI and stuff, I don't know if you've seen how the input data can build bias into the outcome, the formula that the AI creates after analyzing the input data. So you even your input, like, and that's not like the people are trying to make a bias in the code or in the algorithm. It's just there's just because of the nature of the input data, the bias is observed basically and included in the algorithm.
I bet there are a lot of cool things you can do with AI also, but I haven't too much knowledge about exactly that. Anyways, happy NFT day, everyone. Isn't it official NFT day or something today?
That's right. I did see that. Yeah, official NFT day, World NFT Day.
Yeah, World NFT Day. Yeah.
Although I'm not really sure I understand the concept we do with the holidays and all that. We like name days after things, but it's just a human thing, I guess. There's a day for everything. There's a cheese day, and a pickle day, and a cake day, and a you name it. Like for some reason, there's a day for everything all of a sudden.
Ledgerscale day every day.
Am I the only one that's noticed that?
No, there is a lot of days for everything these days, as you say that.
My dad. Let's make Ledgerscale day every day.
I love it. Well, Ledger Scale Day every day is all about the Internet of Value, which is really, truly, in all forms and fashions, the progression of our species as an interconnected whole with the ability to transfer value as we do data. And I hope to see that this plus the Internet of Things and the ability of AI that our species is able to become a multiplanetary species in the next 25 years. Am I rugging, or is everybody just really quiet?
Just thinking over the words you said, man.
Interesting. Cool.
Very wise.
I'm more of a cynic, so like I just I want to see it all burn, and I want to be there to witness it.
Well, to your cynic point, in every vast change, there is a what you could say burning of the old and a renewal of what shall be in the future. So, um, you could see it metaphorically or physically, as in the way that the world is today. But you know, that is one part of just existence is that recycling of energy.
I was wondering about the quantum computers, as we were speaking about earlier. Who do you think will be first out with quantum computer, IBM or something?
IBM they have quantum computers. To what extent, I couldn't tell you, but they did put a paper out that I quoted earlier. Tony, did you put it up top? No. But Tony posted it the other day that IBM created a fridge that is 300 times colder than outer space.
Oh, I can post it up now. I still have it.
Yeah, if you want to post it up, I'm sure people would like to see that. And so, if they're talking about it, right, because they're going to host a series of quantum computers inside of this fridge, I mean, they're most likely way done.
300
Can you
times
imagine
colder
how?
than outer space. Sorry,
Yeah,
Tony.
can you imagine how cold that is?
Is it a smart fridge?
Colder than my little hoodie is gonna keep me warm from.
Karma, that's why you wear two little hoodies, dude.
No, they really do have to have that stuff cold. It matters for the physics of the qubits.
And if there's anybody up here who knows quantum, it's definitely Gene. So, yeah, thank you for coming up, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, what up, Gene?
Hey, Gene.
So with quantum computing, yeah, IBM has it. Be careful when you're on their website. I would definitely recommend using Brave because they kind of monitor what you're doing. Like you can see it through the web browser itself. Like they'll try to turn on the mic itself. But otherwise, they have a quiz kit that runs all sorts of algorithms like Grover's and Shor's algorithm. So you just want to make sure you have a good environment in which you can run their Python scripts, but they're very powerful.
And so you can rent this service already?
Yeah. Yeah, they give you all the code that you need. So it's just making sure you have the system that's able to, test systems that are able to run it. I'll try to look up some other websites that I know of that I've been learning about in my blockchain course where they kind of have like a testing environment for quantum computing. But all you need is like a virtual machine that can handle that that output. So you might want to roll with like a hypervisor one where you're getting more resources out of the system itself for that virtual machine, as opposed to like a hypervisor two. A hypervisor two is kind of like you using Windows, but you have a Linux virtual machine through VirtualBox. A hypervisor one is actually it's like the server itself, and it can utilize the entire components of that system, that computer, or even that server, to where you can just dish out multiple virtual machines like that. That's how you're getting more access to the cores, the RAM, or even the hard drive itself. I know that was a lot all at once.
It was good though. It was good. So is there any way to know the true calculation or power of the amount of qubits that they have? Do they post like the hardware limits that they possess? I don't know. But
MIT did post. They did make a post. Not I think it was a couple months ago, and from my understanding, they have access to about 5 to 9,000 logical qubits right now, unofficially.
yeah, see, that's what I was thinking.
So 3 to 5,000 qubits could factor out asymmetric cryptography within milliseconds. But what's awesome is that there's quantum resistant algorithms that are being used, especially like flares. Flare using crystals to lithium. It's very awesome. It's not just quantum signatures that's being used. They're looking at the overall system and how it's able to process. It's able to assess those processors as well. It. I think it was Songbirdable sent me a post not that long ago about J.P. Morgan having something with quantum computing to where they have like 258 different you know channels that are encrypted by AES 256, which I think is insane.
And so you said AEX it was?
AES, which is Advanced
A-
Encryption Standard.
Okay. And what was the number after it?
256.
256. And so was like 256 bit encryption?
Mm-hmm. 256-bit encryption. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm starting to be able to keep up a little bit, right? Because I've just I've looked at the four different protocols and Shor's protocol algorithm, I guess I should say. So not protocols, algorithm. But man, I just you open it and I'm like, what am I looking at? Is this an alien language? Because like, I don't know, man. Some of that math is it's just I don't know. You know, my brain can't seem to fathom it.
Well, that's why the computers do it, though.
That is for sure. But some human wrote that algorithm, right? Computer didn't write that math. A human wrote that math, and so, this is why Gene, and I'm sure right? Like being a cryptographer is not just a developer, right? Where you write the computer. It's being a mathematician where you can literally speak alien languages with math, because that's really what that is. You know, somehow this language is communicating with with hardware, with literal minerals, and energy that somehow computes to what we would call bits, which is literally like computer language. And it's just incredible to think so stuff actually works, right?
Yeah, when you said the dilithium crystals, I was thinking, I was like Jesus, you know, the it just sounds magical at that point.
But Gene, what would you use a quantum computer for if you had one? Is there any problems you are dying to solve with it? We have it so.
Gene, are you there? I think he might be rugging.
He must not be on his quantum computer right now.
Well, quantum computer wouldn't have anything to do with like the connection, the 5G service. It's only the computational data.
If he is, it probably just overheated. And he's back.
By the way, is there any good news about the XLS20? Is there progress?
Not that I saw, at least. Maybe give it another week, and then hopefully people are trying to push it again.
Sweet.
Didn't somebody put out I don't think I read it, but didn't somebody put out a thing to cut a line of code out or something on the setting the trust line bit of code or something like that? Am I
They
making this?
wanted to polish it up a little bit, yeah.
What's that?
They wanted to polish it up a little bit. You know, they have time now, so.
Well, I think the main thing was that you could have this transaction, and the transaction would create a trust line. And then I think they wanted to take the create a trust line part of the functionality out, because that was how you could say create a bunch of trust lines on behalf of another account, tying up their XRP.
Yeah, correct. You have it spot on. But you know, the funny thing is, though, is like the likelihood of somebody doing that is also sabotaging yourself, because you also have to make all those trust lines. So, I mean, you know, damage done. I don't know, is not damage won. I don't know in this instance, but I think Gene is still getting rugged by Twitter. Man, Twitter is just ruthless.
Good old quitter. Hey, you think we should work today? Nah, we're quitter. In all honesty, though, I couldn't imagine trying to build a service like this. This would be massively, oh my goodness. And they're not even monetizing it really yet. So, phew, they're shelling out big bucks servicing this kind of service.
Twitter you're speaking about?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. To have this many concurrent connections with a voice audio feed, I mean, we're not even like a big account or anything, and I think we've had up to 2,300 people in on a chat before. Like, that's a lot of data flowing to a lot of different endpoints. That all has to be kind of synchronous. Like, otherwise, the flow of the conversation's not going to sound right. People will pick up on that real quick. I mean, humans are
I,
attuned to that kind of thing.
I've had the same issues Gene is having right now. It usually just helps if you close the app, close all apps, because the phone tends to overheat because Twitter is just running something in the background. So close everything down, leave your phone alone for a good minute, and then open it up again, and that always helps.
I shut
But I try to join immediately as soon as I get kicked out, and all it does is kick me right out again. Or it'll show that I'm a speaker, but I can't talk, or yeah.
So what I do is I shove my phone in the freezer for like 30 seconds to a minute. You just shut the door. It gets real cold, you know. And this goes to show like computational power, data, right? Even on the phone, even in this small but yet vast computational power that our phones can do, it requires a ton of energy.
Well, the what I do is I go into my settings and go into apps, and then I force stop because sometimes you can like close all your apps, including Twitter, but it somehow like doesn't really close. So you have to go in and force stop it, and then reopen it. Um,
Yeah, that's what I do, but it as soon as I go back in, it'll still wouldn't let me talk. So it just keeps rugging over and over
You
again.
got you got to get
You have to leave your phone for a good while. I
you,
wonder if IBM will let us use those fridges just to cool off our phones.
so also what I do is one of those packs. If you have an ice pack, you can put that underneath your phone. That's actually what I'm doing right now.
I do actually have an ice pack. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I'll rug
I've
Hey,
some.
done
G-
all of that. That's so funny.
I don't know if you guys want to switch subjects up a little bit, but I was reading earlier the news coming out of Germany. Consumer prices went up 45%, and their inflation is nearing 10%. So that's a pretty big deal considering it's the EU's biggest economy.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of things are happening all over the world. I will most likely continue to as interest rates go up for us and for Europe. Sorry you got rugged though, Gene. Twitter sucks.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it is what it is. But I was listening to you guys. I mean, that ice pack under the phone, like any cooling for a phone, sounds awesome. Because if that's the solution, then I'm not paranoid thinking that spyware is just thwarting my phone from me being able to talk.
I mean, I wouldn't call it spyware, but I mean, in the sense of like the computational data being able to be processed and stored somewhere. Yeah, I think all of it is. I think even when you type a text and you don't even send it, because technically you still created some sort of data flow. Because for that text to appear, there was a microchip connection of electricity that had to occur, and computational power had to be done to produce those results. And so that has to be stored somewhere, and is stored somewhere forever. Interesting, right? I mean, I know.
Hey, anybody knows what Putin's supposed to talk about tomorrow or later today? Because it's going around. It's supposed to be something big.
Question.
Oh, and that's right. There was a question Proc had asked in the little window at the bottom. Hold on. He said, what blockchain course are you taking, and where can he find it? I don't know. Maybe more so like where did you get your education? Maybe so for the most part.
Oh yeah, that's not a secret. If there's any way for anyone to obtain those credentials too, I mean, the more the merrier. I'd honestly believe we need more security professionals or even blockchain professionals in general. But yeah, it's EC Council. That's the organization where I got my certifications from, and where I got my first certification from, and where I'm going to obtain my certified blockchain professional. You want me to post a link? Let me put it up in the space.
Yeah, totally. If you could. What did you say the name was?
EC Council. They're the number one. So if anyone knows about the certified ethical hacker certification, it's almost like just well known by like everyone or every like government entity or organization. They look for that. The EC Council is the number one certification provider for that certification, and then some.
And if you don't mind, how long did the cert take you to take?
So for the one in cryptography or my certified encryption specialist certification, that one took me honestly like I would say like almost a year and a half. But that's like if you truly want to understand like cybersecurity from like the cryptography standpoint, and then where automated trading came from as well. So a lot of people who will blaze through the class will understand, some concepts and principles, but they won't really understand, where trading algorithms came from, or where, where those algorithms were used, within someone's EMA, which, Kashta has like I was learning EMAs from Kashta, which was really awesome because I saw how, he was using the algorithms, and I could just say, hey, that's actually legitimate. But honestly, like you could take the certification course, right, in 6 months and like get the certification. It's just whether or not the knowledge is going to stick, or if it was just, something you just took like any other class you would take. Did you really find something out of it? Like, what how does this apply to my life, type of thing, versus this is something I'm just going to take as a credential. EC Council is the certified blockchain professional, which is awesome because before it was just learning, all these different blockchains and learning about like interledger protocol, like hyperledger. I have to grab my notes for all the other ones. There's so much learning about the quantum computing, learning about, actual like Ethereum virtual machines, and then so on and so on. But I felt like I didn't get anything out of it. You know, I wouldn't have gotten anything out of it without learning cryptography first. So when I spoke with the EC Council, they actually, when they interviewed me, I talked to them about how the course is going, because the actual certified blockchain professional course, if you put the time into it, you'll get it done. Like I started it in May, and I'm 95% done with it. The other 5% is now going over all the coursework all over again, making sure I'm able to apply that code that I learned, and then being able to take a certification exam after that and passing it. But when I talked to them about it, I told them, hey, some people should learn about cryptography, within, the course. It's because, all these algorithms like SHA-256 and SHA-512, or even AES or Blowfish or Serpent, any of those, or even RSA for that matter, they should know about it beforehand, so you understand the impact of what, quantum computing is, or any of these other protocols and these ledgers can provide.
Congratulations, at least on your progress, Gene. 95%. That's almost done.
Thank you.
But how much is it to read through? Is it like months of research to get through it all, or is it to understand it for real? You mean?
It's a little bit of both, but being in these spaces like Karma's space, like just being like with ledgerscale, and just learning from other. And the thing is, Karma's Karma Space or Ledger Scale is probably one of the best spaces I've been in. First for the opportunity to talk to you guys, but secondly, there's a diverse form of learning. It's like taking things from different aspects instead of like a maximalist aspect. But you taking that approach to the course, you're gonna fly through it.
Interesting. Yeah, I will. Could you put up in the top the course you were on, if it's possible?
Yes.
You're well said, Gene. Awesome, man. Proc, welcome up, man. If you'd like to ask a question, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, guys, for bringing me up. I'm actually at work, so I'm listening in the background, and it's difficult to, there's a lot of great discussions happening on Leisure Scale, and at the same time, you have to attend to other things. It's just frustrating. I wish I can just quit the job and be here. And by the way, you guys also kind of gave me a good kind of like a tip off for a product to sell on Amazon. Anybody can go away with it. It's fine, but like I just think about selling iPhone coolers, like the ice pack coolers for iPhones on Amazon. That would be great. Yeah. Anyway, Gene, I asked that question because I was on Coursera. I took some courses on, not actually courses. I took one course on Coursera, the blockchain technology, but I really definitely didn't get anything out of it. It was hard to understand. It was just a bunch of videos and some, materials to read. But at the end of the day, like it really didn't resonate with me. So when you were talking and you mentioned that you took a blockchain course, it kind of touched me, and I was like, you know what, I gotta ask for tips and good directions where to go, because being here, especially on these spaces, like I've been here ever since before they switched to ledger scale, and most of the time I'm always on the background because the timing is I'm at work and the session is happening, so I don't have much to participate in. But like in the background, like we are learning so much. It's just so hard to connect the two things together that one can become at the end of the day. So I appreciate you responding to the question that I asked. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. And reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'll do my best to answer any of the questions you have. With a lot of these blockchain courses, I know what you're talking about because it's not just EC Council's blockchain course I'm going to take, but after I take it, my plan is to actually take Cornell's, their course on blockchain, and because I feel like they dive a bit more into ledgers than what EC does, because I feel like you can tell with a lot of other courses, which blockchains, they're actually more geared towards. They're fans of Ethereum just a good bit. A lot of these data scientists that you watch these videos. I mean, again, I'm a visual learner, so I like the videos, but they also give you like the notes as well. Like you can read the notes, from what they're talking about. Because for me, I didn't have that at first, so I literally had to type everything this person was saying, like word for word, and then reread it later, so I understood. Because it's easier to recall things after you've like written it down and reread it versus trying to shift through videos or shift through different links, find the information that you're trying to access and then communicate. It's at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to reach out, but don't feel bad about reaching out either, because I've talked different spaces where it was with Hedera, Filecoin, some Ethereum, if they're not maxis. The thing is, the space is cool if there's not like a maximalist mindset, because if you're trying to develop a blockchain, you're trying to put everything together. You're trying to bridge everything together. You're not trying to like separate it or make one blockchain look better than the other.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, by the way, I keep trying to approve your request to speak up. I don't know what the Twitter thing's doing.
I haven't even seen a request to speak of.
Yeah, there's a request there. I've tried to approve it like 3 times.
For some reason, I don't see a request. Man, Gene, you have just dropped so much knowledge already so far today, man. I really do thank you so much for coming to these spaces when you do. Every time you speak, there's something to learn, and It's incredible. Yeah. And thank you, man. And Proc, thank you for asking great questions.
It's an honor, man. But yeah, if you guys want to like change the subject, or if you have any more questions for me, just let me know. I want it to be so heavy on one subject. I know everybody has different aspects that you want to talk about as well. Because I learn a lot from Tony, Karma, even you, Death. I learn a lot from everybody that comes up and speaks. It's pretty awesome.
I just have for Jin before, and thanks a lot also, yeah, for everything you are teaching us. But I was asking before you rugged, what do you what you want to use a quantum computer for? If you had one right now, is there something you are hungry to solve? Something?
That's a great question. There's a couple things I would like to use with the quantum computer, like actually testing out, doing some cryptanalysis or doing some pen testing in a sense to actually utilize what quantum resistant actually is with an actual quantum computer. So it goes back into like I was into one of my friends who's I feel like he's a scientist, but he's into bioengineering, more so like nanotechnology, kind of like starting to use it as as a tool, for health, because I feel like the health industry is going to be a big thing. Anything with supply chain, making sure that information everybody's able to share information with one another, and it's getting there like it's supposed to. Like, for instance, I may hold some information that may be valuable to someone else. There should be a way to get that information to everyone else without it being thwarted, or without a malicious algorithm kind of just I don't know how to put it. It's just blacking me out, or kind of not making me look. It's just kind of blocking out that existence in a sense, because algorithms can be used to, like, for instance, like parental controls or anything else. But just making sure that everyone gets adequate information. I think that's the main thing. And then, you know, having a quantum computer would be awesome, because then there's a lot of R&D. I feel like R&D is slept on so much. I mean, the innovation wouldn't be where it is without research and development. So just giving that access to, different individuals, or even children for that matter, because they're the future. I mean, I, eventually I'm going to die, so, and they have to kind of carry on humanity. So, teaching them what we know is like one of the best things we can do as a society.
I couldn't agree.
That's true.
Yeah, and the
True.
most important thing, especially in today's society, is we have to teach people, how to think. How to think, not to think, not just to memorize things, but to ask questions, and to really, you know, deep dive into every single aspect of even what a simple sentence is, or what somebody says, or what is to one to what is different to another.
See NY Crypto down there. What's up, man?
I sent him the invite to see if he can come up, but he might be busy right now.
Good question, Wolf. I mean, if you have any more, ask away. Please, just ask away. Pick my brain, man.
Yeah, thanks. No, right now I will think what I can ask you. But thanks, Gene.
That's going to be the thing with quantum computing too, is who's got the right questions for it.
Very important thing. You have in every single phase of humanity the ability to either, I would say, um, bring us forward, or uh, crush us with deceit. And so, yeah, very important questions we ask. What would you ask a quantum computer, Chris?
I don't know what I would ask it, but if I were to put a rule on one, I would say it should never be online.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Question, Jin, that I
That
don't.
that would be pretty wild.
If there is such thing as blockchains that are not quantum resistant, why could it be that they are not? Could you explain that?
That's a really good question, and I will do my very best to answer it as best I can. I mean, I don't, I can, I'll let you know I don't know everything, and there may be some things I'm missing, but I can say this. Quantum computing was actually broken in the 1990s by Peter Shor, and there's a big gap between the 1990s until now where we're utilizing all these algorithms and these protocols, right? Like now we're worrying about quantum computing, like just about 20, like almost 20, 30 years later, when that was something that should have been probably thought about, like the early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s. Like we're so far back in technology, and now we're starting to catch up. So quantum resistance is something that should have been, focused on for a very long time, as opposed to like now. Well, and we're grateful for, the algorithms that, NIST put out now for quantum resistance, but now it's just R&D for, who can actually apply quantum resistance, or what quantum signatures actually look like.
I have to get some more knowledge on these points. I see. But thanks, Jin, so much.
Yeah, I would say the knowledge is he's sitting right in the space right now. I mean, ask away, man. Because as you ask questions, we all learn.
And something I would like to say is like Shor's algorithm, it factors out, primes that are used in, like, for instance, RSA. Like it factors out the primes used in RSA. It's kind of like, are we using regular primes, or maybe should we be using like Mersenne primes, where the
So before
calculated a bit different?
you go any farther, what can you break down what RSA is, and what was the other type of primes you said? I've never heard that before.
Mersenne's primes.
Never heard that. What's a Marsen's prime as well? If you could break those two things down.
I'll definitely do my best for both of them, but I would say for RSA, it's who it's named after is Riveris, Shamir, and Adi. So they were the three technologists or cryptographers that actually came up with the protocol. And this came up with, and to be honest with you, this was like the 1980s. I'm gonna have to go back and look at some of my notes. I just reset my system, and I'm kind of like hardening it. I've been somewhat paranoid about all of that, but RSA is essentially what you use as, it's on your system. Like 2048 is like typically what, systems like computers use for signatures. 4096 is actually what we technically should be using. The recommended is, 3072, and when I say like those numbers, I mean the actual bits, like how many bits is being used. But RSA in short is kind of like you receiving a one-time passcode. Like your institution, like, wants to verify your identity. Like, this is a security protocol we're going to go through to verify your identity because you're making change your account, so they have to send you a one-time passcode. And they send it to you through text messages. That actual code that's sent to you, that was like randomly generated. That's essentially like RSA in a sense. It just to kind of break it down, it's used as like an authentication protocol, but you know through primes. When they send you that code, whether it be like 36319, that is, that may be a prime number they sent out to you. Maybe I say maybe because I don't have a calculator to calculate that, but that's a number they sent out to you to your phone number, which is your public key, and the private key itself is that actual, put it this way, that private key is the actual numbers that were sent out to you. So you have to verify those keys, right? That key or that number combination to that banker, as an example, for you to be fully authenticated, because they got put in that code into, that system that uses RSA, to then be like, oh yeah, you pass the security protocol, and there you go. Then you're able to continue making those changes to those accounts. I hope that wasn't too confusing.
No, at least for me, I was well explained, and I'm sure anybody who has any questions about it, please feel free to come up. You gave an analogy of the use case behind it, and you explained where it came from, and yeah, I think that was a very detailed history about everything about that. Just that, it's so crazy how one little term, you take just this one little thing that you used in your sentence, RSA, and it has this entire history behind it, right? It's incredible. Well, the other type of primes, you said it was Marcel's primes.
Yes, Mersenne primes. It's a prime number that is less than the power of 2. It's kind of like, if I could take, I'll see if I could take a screenshot and send it to you guys to see if it, just to show you a visual, because I feel like a visual is much better. But in a sense, like exponent n, in a sense, like think of like a formula of 2 to the n power minus 1, in a sense. Like the exponents n, which gives Mersenne's primes, there's like, for an example, like 2, 3, 5, 7, 13, 17, 19, 31. And, you'll have a sequence number. And then the resulting, primes after that would be like 3, 7, 31, 127, 8, 81, 91, 131, 071, and so on and so on. But their formula is actually, MP, where the power, instead of like the exponent being at the top, is at the bottom, equals 2p, where that's where the prime is going to be. So 2 to the p power minus 1 for some prime. It's hard to really explain the math without you guys seeing it. I feel like see the equation, it's like, okay.
I really hope that people realize that wherever you go in life, that it is just going to be an honor to be just around you, because you are just so highly intelligent, Gene. That this is literally one in hundreds and hundreds of millions of people that exist on this earth.
Thank you. That's an honor to hear that. Thank you.
But yeah, that's also a very, very great breakdown of what that type of prime was, and so it's just in its significance.
In short, like Mersenne's primes, it's much harder to factor it out versus regular primes that are factored out through RSA. So I would say like Mersenne's prime are much better. It's computationally more secure than using regular primes.
What do you mean by regular primes?
Like regular primes, like regular prime numbers.
Like a 1, 3, 5, 7. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Some of them have some even numbers in it. Some primes have has some even numbers in it.
Yeah, it breaks my brain sometimes when I see things like that. I remember there was this algorithm that I read about a long time ago. It was trying to break the prime numbers, and I have it on YouTube still stored somewhere. And it was like it's almost like infinite. Well, it is infinite, and so if humanity ever gets to that point, we'll probably be an infinite being. But yeah, it's interesting, the study of prime numbers. Or numbers in general, math. I just see math. Math is literally just an alien language in my eyes. It's just another language.
It's the universal language.
That's it. It is. It truly. Well, it is for our species. Yeah, for sure. It is. It is a universal language. That's why I call it an alien language. I think it could be spoken between languages. Yeah, for sure. Or maybe I shouldn't call it alien language. Other intelligent species language. Universal language. I like that one better though.
I'm finding a post for you guys, like a picture that like, puts out the equation so it's a bit better. So it's a little quiet right now.
Well, Death, I got about a half an hour left, and then I got to go. I got plans for this evening, so.
Yeah, that's no problem. If you need to end before 5:30, just let me know and we'll close it up. It has just been such a great chat today too, and I know I say that every single day, but it had an interesting day, and then
I'm good till 5:30.
all right, cool, perfect. But then, Gene, you have just it's like it really does blows my mind, right? I get to learn every day that you get to come in here, and it's I don't I don't get that opportunity very often. I'm sorry if you guys heard that noise. It was I was opening a kombucha.
I love kombucha.
It's good for you, I think personally. Every couple days, I like to have a couple cups. I don't know if this brand exists by you, but I buy one called Synergy. I think they are nationwide though.
Yes, I like Synergy. They're really good. Like, really good. Go ahead, Death. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good. I was just agreeing. Yeah, pretty good. Got the pomegranate one. You know, if there's anybody in the audience that has any topics they'd like to speak about or questions about anything that was already spoken about, please feel free to hit the request, come up. If I could also ask if everybody could follow us at ledgerscale on Twitter, and at the bottom right, that little bubble, if you could like and retweet this so that hopefully other people can find this information valuable in the future, because this was jam packed with a lot of great information, especially about the advancements of quantum computing and the computational algorithms that are going to be needed and already needed to be able to deflect around it.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to like support our continued effort, there should be some public addresses on the ledgerscale account, and I'll get the other stuff going eventually.
So, Carm, are you excited about Interledger Protocol going? You say you were going to New Orleans, right?
Yeah, I've never been to New Orleans. Some of these guys, it's kind of like Apex. Like I've been talking to some of these guys for a couple of years, and it's nice to like shake someone's hand and hi, like what's that Peter Pan thing? Like I'm a real boy. Like yeah, no, we're all actually existing humans, right? Like hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. We've had plenty of significant conversations. It's not like I think they're fake people or anything, but yeah, I'm excited about it. And I've never been to New Orleans. I'm not much of a city person, but I think New Orleans is probably a city I would like. I'm a little sad I didn't go there before Katrina because I'm sure it's different. There's some people I hang out with that are from out there. They told me as much that, it's definitely different post Katrina.
Hey, Karma. Yeah, I lived there for quite a long time. I was in New Orleans for about I think over 10 years. Pre and post Katrina, it kind of changed. There's a saying there. They say that God sent Katrina intentionally sent that Katrina to clean up the city because it was pretty bad before Katrina. But there's a lot that changed now. Like you can't even if you were there like prior to Katrina and you go there now after you left, you wouldn't even realize it's totally different. And I think last time when you were planning to go to Vegas, you were talking that I can't recall, but did you say that you don't like casinos? Because I'm going to ask you a question. Where's the conference going to be at in New Orleans?
Hang on, I'll tell you.
Is it at the convention center?
It's at the Marriott. What the hell is this thing? It's at the. Oh, give me the stupid name of the thing. It's at the New Orleans Marriott Warehouse Arts District. 859 Convention Center Boulevard.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a casino right next door. So there you go. Casinos follow you everywhere you go.
Yeah, I don't really care. I didn't know you could do gambling in New Orleans, though. I guess that's a thing.
You can do anything in New Orleans. You can drink in the street. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's gonna ask you anything.
Oh, that's interesting.
Honestly, when I like play basketball there, like I play I play a lot of basketball here and there, like just different sports. You would imagine me being like 300 pounds and sitting in front of a computer, like how much stuff I just study. But no, I actually like playing basketball. But when I would watch some of like the hooping videos, they get down. Like even some of the cops, they'll actually come and play. Like they'll actually watch the courts because of how serious it gets. But some of them come out and play. Like I've seen a couple cops that can dunk, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
what was that?
people are friendly there, man. It's just a really good place. You got that's I'm a black guy, so I'm sorry, I apologize, but like I moved to the States a while back. But that's the first place that I moved to that I was walking down the street and I had a white guy wave at me. And I remember when I was moving to the South, a lot of people were trying to scare me and say that, you know what, you gotta be careful, it's the South. But the best, nice, friendly people that you can find in the world are based out there in Louisiana. I don't know about the other parts of the US, but I had the best time there. The people are friendly, the food is pretty good, you know, like it's really, really, when you get there, you can feel that you're in a better place. So it's, and then when you were talking about the cops, it depends on where you are, but like with my experience when I was there too, we were engaged. But I had a lot of friends that were cops, and we do a lot of bunch of things together. They are very engaged in the community over there too, so which is pretty good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I I don't know if that would be exactly true here in Florida. Like, I hear some things that I just really rub me the wrong way. But that's the cops. So what are you gonna do? And these are cops that like think I'm friends with them. So they're saying things that they probably shouldn't be saying or really even thinking.
But to New Orleans is it's a place that I also want to go. More so for the culture and the food because that's my thing. I like to just try foods all over the place. Being in New York, you see, go to New York City, you could have a lot of that. Still, some of that same Cajun style sometimes. But yeah, there's I have to for sure one on my bucket list to go down there and get that. Especially, it's nothing like I know my family really likes crawfish and stuff, and it's like fresh. Same thing like for me with lobster, and so I could imagine it's probably best fresh.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited about the food. I'm totally excited about the food.
yeah, food is great over there. And I think last time I checked, they said they had over 3,000 events in a year. So if you divide that by 12, you're looking at, I guess, more than 10 events every day for the whole year. So there's always something to do over there, like all the time. There's always something to do. So there's one other thing when Def was talking. I wanted to say something. I forgot what it is, but I'll say when it is. I hate it when that happens. But anyway, I was going to say something about New Orleans too, but I forgot what it is.
The crawfish, maybe, because that's what I made a comment on.
No, not that.
Oh, I was going to. My belly
By the
is
way,
thinking
I'm
about it.
wondering about New Orleans and the hurricane that destroyed it. That was back in 2005, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it the same?
that's what Karma was.
Yeah, so I remember what it is. So I don't want to talk about Christianity here, but like in New Orleans, they say that if you lived a life and you've never been in New Orleans, there's no way you're gonna go to heaven. so for nobody who hasn't been there, like if you believe you're gonna go to heaven, you're not gonna go until you go to New Orleans first.
That's funny.
Yeah, man, it's all about that.
It's such a historically significant city. Like, and the culture, the food, the significance of the location, it's kind of like all the flats and lowlands, kind of like where I live in Florida. And it's like, I'm really excited to go out there. I've never been there. Actually, I got to go ahead and buy my tickets and all that shit.
Don't you have a private jet?
Yeah, right. That would be fun. Actually, you wouldn't believe how cheap it is to rent if you get like say 5 or 6 people to rent a small private plane can be cheaper than taking a commercial flight.
A small private plane, though, could also give you a heart attack. I've been in a small private plane before, and it was not a fun experience, at least for me.
I get excited by that kind of stuff. So, but I'm a weirdo.
At least they give me a parachute. Then I'm all right.
Yeah, I've done a couple of small planes. My buddy's dad had one down in the Naples area, and I don't know if you know like the Thousand Islands, but we just went just for like a cruise, like a sightseeing flight, low level, all out around the Thousand Islands area. It was beautiful. I mean, you can just see everything, and there's like no humans out there, which is actually nice to see. Yeah, you can see alligator, you can see everything. It's pretty cool. And I think we only spent like what, $60 in gas or something. I mean, it was basically free.
Before gas, triple the price.
Well, this was a few years ago, so I don't know what the gas would be now, but
yeah,
really, I was surprised. It only burned. I mean, the gas was expensive relative to like car gasoline, but really only burned a couple of gallons of gas, and we probably went on an hour flight, just cruising around 45 minutes. I don't know, something like that. It was cool.
Yeah, I also had I guess I was caught in a storm, so that's probably why my experience wasn't so good.
The Thousand Islands.
That'll stir up your stomach.
Yeah, we dropped something like 150 feet in like 10 seconds or something like that.
Oh boy, I might have to change my diaper after that.
Yeah, I wish I had a diaper, right? Just kidding. But yeah, it definitely it was one of those experiences.
I was in a small plane up in Alaska because we went out fishing somewhere, and we got tossed around a good bit, and yeah, it'll make you ooh, a little bit nervous, that's for sure.
Speaking of Alaska, I'm on mile 106 right now.
I was waiting for it.
What does that mean?
He lives there.
What's that?
Well,
Chris is
I'm
from there.
off the Alaska highway, so it takes 2 days
Oh,
to where I work, but right now I'm coming up to what would be mile 107 of the Alaska highway.
yeah. Alaska was fun, man. But it's been years since I was up there. I like.
Yeah, I also
I
want
don't know. I don't know if I could do winter up there. I mean, hell, I thought summer was cold.
in the next decade or so, Alaska might become one of the greatest trade routes in the entire world.
Yeah, it'll be the tropics by like 2040.
That's very possible.
No, I had a good time up there. Like we did some good fishing, big time good fishing. Um,
What kind of fish were you fishing, Karma? Was it fresh? Is it freshwater or salt? I guess.
some halibut. Um, my uncle actually they do an annual. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do, as I remember, an annual king salmon tournament. And it's like a multi-month tournament, and it's a big tournament. Like you get like $1 million and like a boat and SUV, and like it's a big tournament. And so there's like 2 days left in the tournament, and my uncle paid to get into the tournament, and then we went out fishing, and lo and behold, he caught the biggest fish by like a good clip. And so he's like, I just can't believe my luck. Like, and it took about 2 hours to reel this fish in. This was not like an easy thing. And so he's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my like luck. Like, there's 2 days left in this multi-month tournament, and like all this prize money, and like I've got the biggest fish by a lot. And then before we left, we were walking out in the parking lot. Somebody came in with another fish that outweighed my uncle's fish by like 2 pounds, just barely. I mean, you're talking about a big fish. Um, so yeah, he didn't win the thing. I don't know if the other guy that was the guy that won it, or if somebody. There must have been a batch of king salmon coming in that were bigger. Uh, because people started getting big ones. It was a hell of a good trip, man. And that fresh smoked salmon, oh my god.
I bet salmon is nice, amazing. But did you fish it from rivers then? Were they swimming up the rivers?
No,
Uh, we did the king salmon. We were in a boat. The other fish we fished from the riverside, and then like when we did the halibut, we went offshore.
All right. Is it steams, like large steams of salmon then? Or do you get like a lot of other fish while you're fishing also? In Norway, we are used to fish salmon from the rivers mostly.
The salmon, the little ones, we fished from the river. The king salmon from the boat, but in the river. The halibut was offshore.
Sounds fun when you're speaking about it. I haven't been fishing for years.
What? I'm sorry.
No, it was. I wish I was fishing right now. I haven't been fishing for years.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's getting to be fishing season down here. All the bait's starting to run, and the bigger fish are starting to come in, is what I'm hearing. So I might be fishing here in the next couple months. A little bit more. Fall's the best season.
Is there some crabs you can fish also from Florida?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can go crabbing all over the place over there.
Yeah. You got to know where to put the traps, but yeah.
Or up by me, up East Coast, you have Maryland has some really nice crabbing.
Sweet. What kind of crabs?
Blue crab mostly. When I went up there, I went out to the coast, and I was like, oh, let me get some of these crabs, right? Because they're famous for their crab, and I love crab. And then they bring me the crab, and they didn't clean the crabs. They cooked them with the guts and everything.
Well, I meant catching them yourself. The crabs and stuff are good, but that's just funny wherever you went.
Well, and then I was like, "What are you guys?" Because I grew up crab.
Well, so I guess they look at them as their soft shell, like they call them. So
No. Bullshit. I grew up crabbing. We clean the crab before we cook the crab. So you pop the shell off, you clean the guts out, you hose it down, you clean the crab. I mean, it's like you clean the guts out of a fish before you cook it. Like, duh. And then
You don't take the meat. Oh, sorry.
Huh?
No, so sorry, Kama, that I was disrupting you. But do you don't take the meat out of the claws, do you? Before you cook it? Do you cook it?
No, and you want to cook crab before if you freeze crab before you cook it, you just ruined it. It'll all stick to the shell and you're screwed. So you need to cook it before you freeze it. But yeah, I mean, we always clean the guts and everything out. And then we went up to Maryland, and they cook all the guts and everything. It's like, what are you guys stupid? What's going on here? But that's how they do it. So personally, I'm not eating the guts, man. Just not.
I think there's something different with the crabs. I think there's something. I think I can't remember it off the top of my head. Were they fried though? Because that would only be the only I think reason that makes sense.
Steamed, just regular steamed. The soft shell crabs, we have a soft shell crab festival here locally every year. They'll fry some there, but then you actually eat the shell, which means you're eating the guts.
Yeah,
but
that's fried though.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's okay. I've done that before, but I like steamed crab. But I clean my crab.
It's been a long time since I had any crab or anything like that. It's expensive.
Oh, I've been on crab bins recently. I've been getting from this restaurant down the street that I go to. Every time they screw up a crab order, I come home with a free crab meal. So yeah, they've been doing a lot of screw ups recently, which I'm okay with.
My father fish crabs almost all the time now in the autumn. He gets 70, 80 crabs, something like that, for each time he's out picking off the, what is it called, lobster crabs or crabs. It's amazing. I love crab. Also,
What sort of crabs do you guys get?
Norwegian crab, I guess. They look totally different from the blues.
Yeah, they're more like lobsters, right? Almost. Hold on, let me look it up.
Yeah, you can Google it, but just Google Norwegian crab, and you can see how they look.
Yeah, they're much larger. They're definitely much larger. They look like a combination between a crab and a lobster, almost.
Yeah, so there's a lot of meat in the claws. Lobster crab.
They remind me a lot of the crustaceans you find in Australia.
What sort of crab is it?
Norwegian crab.
I don't know that I've heard of that. Is it like a king crab or a snow crab or a? You said it's like a lobster?
Yeah, just like just because it's a lot bigger and the structure of it like has a. I mean, it doesn't have the shape of a lobster, but you can buy live Norwegian red king crab.
Well, it's a king crab.
Or
Not the
Norwegian
king crabs.
monster.
You have the red
Yeah, they call it.
also.
Yeah, they have monster crab or regular king crab, or red king crab. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, these are big suckers. Holy cow! These
Yeah,
things are
that's a lot
massive.
of meat. Are you looking at the king crabs now, or the with the long shells?
I just googled Norwegian crab. And they got like well, that looks like stone crab. They got like some little spikies, sort of.
Yeah, they got some spikies. Yeah, they have a couple different kinds because they also have the king crab is it's a kind of a new arrival of Norway because it stems from the northern reaches of the Pacific Ocean. It was previously known in Norway as the Kamchatka crab. After the I don't know. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. After the peninsula on the east coast of Siberia in the 1960s. So I guess Soviet biologists started to release these crabs into the Murmansk Fjord. So they have different species of crabs living because of my obvious humans, but that's interesting.
Huh. Crab's my favorite meat, for sure.
It says here, Google says at least, for some reason, it gave me a suggestion of the best tasting crab, and it says the meat of the blue crab is considered by many to be the sweetest and the best tasting of all. But I don't know.
Well, it's definitely sweet. The thing with blue crab is you have to know how to eat it because they're not big, right? So it's not like a snow crab claw where you pull a giant hunk of meat out. It's not how it works. You get little tiny bits of meat, but if you don't take the crab apart appropriately, then you're just going to frustrate yourself. You'll make a mess. You're not going to get all the meat. Your people don't know if you got to know how to take it apart. And that's the thing. And if you know how to take it apart, you can pull it apart relatively quickly and get all the meat and toss the shells to the side, right? And it's really good. And it's definitely sweet.
Are you
But
sucking out the meat from the tiny legs?
yeah, well, you have to break. So the way you do it is each leg is attached to, I don't know, I'll just call it a chamber in the body. So if you twist the leg off from the base, right, then you pull that chamber of meat out from the body. Okay, then you get to eat the whole. I like the body the best. Some people don't even eat the body because they can't figure out how to eat it. It's a terrible It's like just a waste. I can't imagine half the meat. Anyway, people are stupid. So yeah, you twist the thing, you get the meat chamber off of the body, and then you eat the leg, right? Um, and you do that by starting from the toe, and you pop out the ligaments so the meat comes out, and then then you do the next chamber, and it's great. I mean,
Yeah,
it's good,
it is, but you have to have time.
and they're everywhere. It's not like you're gonna screw with the environment by eating blue crab. They're freaking everywhere. If you can get them closer to the open ocean, they're a little bit better. If you get them up in the flats, they're a little darker because they live like in the muck and the mud and stuff. I think the ones closer to the like mouth of the inlet and everything are a little bit better.
There is a lot of them. It's like there is unlimited of them, something. Is there lobsters also among the whole coast?
No, you got to go down to South Florida for the lobsters. Like Fort Lauderdale, maybe south to the Keys, West Coast a little bit. Yeah, the lobsters are different. But Florida lobsters are different than like up north lobsters. Because the Florida lobsters they like don't have the big giant claws and everything. They're just they're smaller and just have a tail, basically. But the thing is, when you find Florida lobsters, what they do is they line up in a single file line and they like walk across the bottom of the ocean and you just go pick them up. I mean, you got to find them, right? But then once you find them, you just go pick them up. That's why there's a limit.
Google and Norwegian lobster. They are massive.
What's that?
Search Norwegian lobsters. They are massive.
No, the Florida lobsters are tiny, like maybe the size of like a large shoe.
Yeah, but man, those things get on your little finger. Ooh.
No, the Florida lobsters don't have claws.
Oh, Florida lobster. Sorry.
No, the Maine lobsters and like the ones from up north, them bastards will take your finger off.
Yeah.
I mean, those suckers are real big. My grandfather used to have one lobster claw. I mean, I would think it could have taken your whole hand off. The claw was so big.
Guess if it was that big, yeah.
It was huge. I mean, he used to try and scare us when we were younger and say we were going to get. Obviously, there's no lobsters down here with claws like that. But actually, we played a joke on him one time, and he had a crab trap out off the stuff. We ran traps, but we just always kept a crab trap off the side of the dock, right? So my uncle went to the store and bought like a Maine lobster. We stuck it in the crab trap, and then nobody said anything to him, to my grandfather. And then he pulls the trap up and he's like, "Oh my goodness, I caught a Maine lobster," right? Like, which there's no Maine lobsters down here. But anyway, he was so excited. We never actually told him that, my uncle stuck the lobster in the trap.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. He was just so excited. Like, he was like, just super excited. So everybody knew, but we were all like, "Shh, don't say anything."
But how was that in a lobster trap, you said?
It was in a crab trap.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we just had a crab. I mean, because we always ran crab traps, and we ran the oyster bed and all this stuff. I mean, it's just, yeah, and but yeah, he really thought he caught a Maine lobster. So we just kind of somehow or another decided to just let him think that he caught a Maine lobster in Florida. Which obviously there's no Maine lobsters down here.
I think the best part of it is that nobody ever told him.
Well, he was too excited. I mean, he was so excited about it that, anyway, whatever. It was funny.
It has been a fun chat today, guys. I really appreciate everybody who comes to these and listens every day, and especially people that come up and speak with us. I mean, Gene, I'll call you out again, man, but just thank you for so much for coming up and sharing so much knowledge and wisdom with us today. It was really, it was such a quantum learning day, right? We learned about such significant um, quantum theories and algorithms that are going to be so relevant in our near future. And it was a fun chat today. But hopefully, see everybody here tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time, where we'll have a focused topic. And just thank everybody for coming.
Thanks so much, Karma and Death and Shin, for chat today.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. If you do want to donate or support the effort, do the thingamajigger there on the top of ledgerscale. And yeah, I know we get a little bit off topic about crabs and stuff, but that's okay.
That was a good way to finish it, I think.
Well, there's more to life than money. Like I'm excited about all the crypto stuff, but there's also like actual real life. So I think it's good.
100%. I like to look at it this way. If you're listening to my voice right now, you're most likely part of the new Internet of Value, and you will be able to hopefully experience a great and extravagant, especially food enjoyment of life. But just hope everybody has a good rest of the day.
Oh, I can't wait for the food in New Orleans, man. Can't wait. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Sorry, Death, if you want to say something, wrap it up. But yeah, appreciate everybody joining, and that's good for me. I got to get ready to go out to this stupid dinner thing.
Enjoy. Night, everybody.
Enjoy, Karma. Good night.